All right, Lions fans, let's talk about the Lions wish list. My wish list for the Lions going into this offseason. I believe they have their hiring a head coach, they have their hiring a general manager, and I believe they're finna go ahead and finish the domino effect with the coordinators, and then it would time to be. I guess they would be evaluating the roster. And as we stand right now, there is three pieces that's definitely on my wish list that I would love pursue to go after, and if it's possible to obtain it at a very reasonable rate. Uh, don't be. Well, I won't say don't be, but don't do what typically what the Lions would do is overpay. But I believe they have in a general manager as well as a head coach the perspective to allure certain types of talent here. Maybe not high on the market, and I don't know about the upcoming free agency who's really up there. That's who's going to be high in demand. But there are, I said three, but there's possibly four guys that I would love for the Lions to target. I mean, I absolutely would love for them to target. It's almost like it would be a must do for me. One is Ndamukong Suh. Um, He is not, of course, the Dominican suit that he was for the past what 5 years, and let alone he's not that same suit that he was when he was with the Lions. Yet at the same time, I believe his presence alone is infectious, and it would actually give a much needed jolt to that defensive line. Trey Flowers, in my opinion, is a monster. Now, he won't get the recognition because he doesn't get the help that he deserves. Now, don't get me wrong. Danny Sheldon, Pennicini, they are great, but it's not that type of help. It's that next level help, like such as what Adrian Peterson did for DeAndre Swift. It's that guy that you can look up to, stature. And I believe that Sue is that kind of impact on that defensive line. Now, my next piece will be in the linebacker core slash, you could say, defensive end, outside linebacker. I don't know how that will work at this person's age and his uh, I guess you could say his production on the field based upon his previous injury, and that's Von Miller. Von Miller is number two. I will go after him because once again, Jamie Collins and Jelani Tavai, I believe they have. I think there's so much room to do with them. And I believe if you use Jamie Collins correctly, he will be the impactful player that he was with New England versus being with Cleveland and how he was with Patricia Ponder, um, with Patricia and how he was with Cleveland. Jamie Collins is a guy who needs direction. If there's no leader to direct him, he will freelance. He will go to himself and do what he wants to do. And but he needs direction. Some players that or some people, but particularly what we're talking about the players, some players actually needs direction, how to be put in position to actually be successful. And my third overall is Patrick Peterson. Patrick Peterson, the same way that I evaluate Von Miller and Ndamukong Suh, I would say Patrick Peterson is the same way that I would value what I would value for the secondary for the future investment of Amario Warrior, Tracy Walker, even Deron Harmon, as well as Jeff Okuda. I if you give me someone in that back court, I mean in that backfield, not backfield, that secondary, that is not just a leader on the field, but it's somebody that you looked up and revered, and in that regard, then I believe they could rise to that standard. I think they need three great examples because it's clearly they have talent. They just once again they're just players that need to be put in their proper position to know how to succeed. And if the bonus pick, the fourth, if I said, let me see, the Ndamukong Suh, Von Miller, Patrick Peterson, number four, if they probably have to swing a trade for this, is the gentleman Quentin Nelson, the guard. Can you imagine Quinton Nelson, even at the age, I think he's at 24, 25, him next to Ragnow and Decker? Are you kidding me? that man, I don't. It don't even matter what you do with Stafford. You could bring in a rookie head. You could bring a rookie quarterback, in here, and this team will be successful. With you give me a dominant defensive line and a dominant offensive line, which they are. I want to say they're on the cusp of doing. You give me a dominant. Let's go here, offensive line. You can put a rookie quarterback back there, and behind them, and they have great leadership to lead them how to whatever. And yeah, even if you keep Marvin Jones, if you don't keep Marvin Jones, if you keep Galladay, you don't keep Galladay. Galladay, I is a guy that he's a piece, he's a luxury piece that, oh, he can be a key free agent that they may have to be forced to let go based upon what I want to do elsewhere. I will not. There's one thing about the Patriots way that I definitely agree with, or any other winning franchise, I will not put one player above the team. As either you play within the team and the structure how it's going to go, which is what the Lions have never had because they constantly still overpay talent to get people to come here because if there was a structure here, something that players would have to respect, and then players wouldn't have to, the Lions wouldn't have to overpay. So with that being said, you give me that dominant offensive line, and I believe Quentin Nelson is the missing piece for that offensive line. And I believe that he has, I want to say maybe, 2 years coming up? Maybe not, no, maybe another year. I don't know if it's pending. But maybe he may be getting ready to come to an end of his contract. And they may be looking to move on. And so I made them a deal. I have a few draft picks. But my key asset, what I love for the Lions to do, and come on, Dallas, come on, do what you do. Play ball with us and give us a deal because you're ready to set go and you just need. I don't know how the Dak that Dak quarterback situation is going to work out. I can imagine they won't bring him back, but if their quarterback situation is available, Matthew Stafford has to be the guy that they go for. There has to be the guy, and it wouldn't be like in complete wouldn't it be fitting for that the Lions and not the Lions but the Cowboys how they did the Vikings for Herschel Walker, that the Lions is able to do the Cowboys the exact same way? That would be awesome. They may not get a first for Stafford. They may get some seconds, some thirds, and maybe some second, third, maybe fourth or something like that, and then you may mix 2 years of worth of draft picks for Stafford and so forth, and maybe you have to throw in another player in there, to make it. Who know how to make the numbers work? I just want capital back for Stafford, and there's an article about Calvin Johnson saying he should go back home, and I agree. He had a. It's I often call it a not a conundrum. It's what is the word I want to look for well, I can't find. I'm lost words, but there Stafford is it's weird how his career is with Detroit. But I will say this: he's due to win somewhere else, and the Lions is due. It should be a 50-50 split where both teams involved actually gain off of this deal. I can say all three. Stafford gets a chance to go home. The team get a chance to actually get a veteran quarterback that possibly can put them in contention for a title, as well as Lions was able to get capital. I believe that would be the right situation for this situation, where nobody's left high and dry, no one losing this deal, and I would love to see that happen. And let the new general manager, head coach, go ahead and work together as a tandem to fill in those holes for the rest of the roster. But going back to my wish list, my wish list is Quentin Nelson. That will be a trade. Stafford's trade. I may bring back Marvin Jones. I may bring him back if he's willing to come back for a good, reasonable price and he's willing to go up under his new coach and so forth. And in the direction where the team is going, I'll bring back Marvin Jones if I could. But that of course that would be if Stafford was here. If Stafford's not here, I can move on from Marvin Jones. If they bring back Galladay, I can survive with a rookie quarterback, or even David Blau, if you will. with Kenny Galladay. I could survive with that. Kenny Galladay and T.J. Hawkinson and T.J. DeAndre Swift. Man, that's a nightmare. That's a nightmare. With a dominant offensive line. Yeah, okay. Going back to the wish list. Okay, Quentin Nelson. Then that's all I need. Quentin Nelson trading Stafford for draft capital, and I believe they're gonna have a little. I don't know how much wiggle room they will have. Uh, I think they're going into this offseason now with 11 million on the cap. I mean, free, whatever. But of course, if they're letting go of Stafford, that's 19 million. Unless they could cut a deal with the team that they send them to. Maybe taking off a draft pick and and making some numbers work out. But trading Stafford, if I bring in a quarterback and if I can ride with, I can go get a quarterback off the street with Chase Daniels. And some people say like, well, that's not a good deal with Chase Daniels. I'm looking for the next year crop of quarterbacks to be actually better than this crop. I'm not going to settle, even though I could get somebody from this year, in early rounds or even the later rounds. I guess I could, but I'm not willing to do that. But going back to let me just make it plain with my wish list, and because this I would say this off season as well as last year, I would say for the past 3 years I have been really optimistic of seeing. Well, actually, let me just say it this way: this is when I actually become involved into the Lions is during the off season. During the regular season, I could care less about it, because it's pretty much going in a certain direction every year. So during the off season is when I become optimistic. It becomes very, energetic. It's in the direction of the team, how it's going to lay out, what they're going to do to add pieces, this. And I was really glued to the news screen, when Bob Quinn was here, because I was intrigued by how the moves that he was making, and the fans may not like it because how statistically how it played out, or and all that good stuff, and they don't think they got their true value for the dollar for the free agents they brought in. I disagree. I believe that they brought in a very good group of free agents. I just believe that they lacked a leader, and it started from the quarterback on down. They lacked not quarterback, from a head coach on down. They lacked a leader, and I believe they're going to get that in Dan Campbell if he is, will they go ahead and make that official if they haven't by the time this video come out. That yeah, I definitely will see it. I would definitely going to see an improvement based upon his energy alone, and I believe he has a demand to detail versus um, a dictatorship. I believe that I think he could make his point across, get his point across, without making a person feel as though they don't have a voice in the room. I think he can identify the different personalities and so forth. You got this kind of culture, this type of culture, and so forth. And I can talk this, so forth. So, okay, if that's going to be his strength, then therefore it would definitely be needed here for basically to make up the loss for what was previously done. So, with that being said, Quentin Nelson, the offensive line, the Dominican Sue defensive line, Von Miller linebacker core, Patrick Peterson, uh, secondary, and that's my four if I can get it that way. Ndamukong Suh, Von Miller, Patrick Peterson, Quentin Nelson. I guess that's my five. Let me see. Ndamukong Suh, Von Miller, Patrick Peterson, and Quentin Nelson. That's four. Those are my guys, and of course the fifth is I want to trade Stafford. If I could send him to Denver, Texas, if I could get something, a good deal, I want to treat it like I said in prior videos. I would treat it like a Herschel Walker type deal. If I can get that deal in return, the assets in return, that would be great. But I would treat it as though Jimmy Johnson did when he was looking on his roster and he needed to get picks in because of where the roster was. It wasn't up to par. It was a bunch of veterans and so forth. He needed some youth, he needed some rejuvenation, and they didn't have no capital to work with. So he did a miracle thing, and he He traded. Minnesota was in the need for a running back. They was like one. I guess they was in a place for one piece away, and he was ideal. So they made that deal. And I think there's a team such as you maybe have Dallas, maybe even Houston, maybe, not even Houston, but Dallas, maybe Denver, maybe any quarterback. I mean, any team that's lacking a quarterback, but they pretty much got everything else structured. That's where those are targets that I would like to send Stafford and get some capital back. Even if you're talking about second, third, fourth, fifth, whatever, and even if I'm doubling down on two drafts worth, then so be it. Even if I don't know about if they can edge in a player in there or something like that to whatever. Who knows how they can work it? But I would love to be that bold with Matthew Stafford. Am I willing to go 8-8 without him? Yeah, I'm willing to go 8-8 without him because once again, I'm going into the next year draft uh, with more trade. I mean, with more capital. But I think that the talent that's coming out next year, quarterback position, I could be wrong, but I think they're better than this talent that's coming out, particularly in the position where the Lions is actually at to get a top tier, highly valued quarterback coming out of this draft. They're sitting in seventh, and they will have to go up to go get somebody that's I would believe that's considered more worth it than just settling for somebody to come at seventh just because you need a quarterback. Uh, David Blau bring back with Chase Daniels, and I ride with those two. And if I were to get somebody off the street, which they have done, and it was a guy that they let go along with David Blau. It was another rookie. Uh, I think he was off somebody's practice squad, not practice squad, but last year. But they cut him, and he was the mobile quarterback. They found guys that can actually be serviceable. Like I said, my ceiling next year is 8-8 because if they go past 8-8, which they could do, but if they go past 8-8, that's exceeding expectations, of course. But anyway, I'm rambling as always. But Ndamukong Suh, Quentin Nelson, Von Miller, Patrick Peterson. You give me that in my locker room with this talent right now. And this team is not just 8-8, but I think this team is above a 500 team. Easily, easily. With that being said, Lion fans, I salute.